My name is Dorothy. UZOR. I'm heading the Lagos Regional Office of the bank. Nexim's Lagos Regional Office is in charge of the Lagos, Ogun and Oyo states, because we have another office in Oyo. So this is actually oversees the operations of the bank. Of course, you're aware that Lagos and Ogun control the commercial population of the export community. The rediscounting refinancing facility of the bank is an interbank facility, short-term interbank facility of up to a maximum of 360 days. Rediscounting refinancing RRF is tailored to encourage deposit money banks, the commercial banks, to support non-oil exports, and is actually a discounting window to liquefy the export credit operations and transactions of the commercial bank, to encourage access of credits to exporters by the commercial bank, so that they will extend export credits to the commercial bank at very competitive rates. For export credit contribution to the non-oil export, and actually the foreign receipts of government is declining, and the only way the bank is trying to arrest the situation is to support this RRF. Rediscounting refinancing, like I said, is an interbank facility. It's the banks that Nexim extend credits to. The rediscounting is to allow banks to and encourage them to extend credit to commercial exporters and rediscount the bills with Nexim, so that one, it has the way of providing liquefying the activities of the commercial banks, providing them with the liquidity to continue export operations. The banks at any point in time will be encouraged to extend credits to the exporters. What it means is that at competitive rates, the RRF is at all-in interest rate of 9%. Nexim lends to commercial banks at 6%, and commercial banks are allowed a maximum spread of 3% on the facility. For exporters, they ought to have undertaken export transaction, or they are in the process for pre-post shipment. And you have the pre-post shipment. Pre-shipment is for activities that will aid shipment. Post shipment, where the export activity has already been undertaken, and these exporters will need funds to sustain the export operations. The refinancing will be to refinance the exposure of the commercial banks to the exporters. The beneficiaries are both the banks and the exporters. The banks, in terms of liquefying their export credit operations, at any point in time they have a liquidity challenge. Instead of being discouraged or restricting their portfolio of export credits, they have the window, the rediscounting window, to bring their export credit transaction for rediscounting or refinancing with Nexim. So it allows them that window of liquidity, and encourages them to support the export credit operations of the country at any point in time. They are not restricted. Another way is also it moderates the cost of credits to the exporters. That will also bring the benefit both to the banks in terms of the managing the liquidity, and also to the exporters. The exporters will have the window of continuous access to export credits at any point in time, and they also have the benefit of a competitive rates for their export operations. These competitive rates will also impact positively on their ultimate competitiveness in the international trade. The commercial banks at any point in time will not lend for any operation below 18%, but you know that it could go as high as 20-25. With RRF at all-in 9 is a big relief to the export operations of any export-oriented entity. And again, it also encourages, helps the commercial bank to maintain that mandate of contributing to the export receipts of the government in terms of the foreign exchange and also the job creation. Of course, actually the RRF is a testimony, an indication of good collaboration with commercial bank because it is an interbank. So it is the commercial banks that actually will determine the strength and the sustainability of that product as product of the bank and the service. We collaborate, we complement the activities of the commercial banks. We don't compete. We need them because the commercial banks maintain direct and also retail activity of the export community. Nexim is not a retail bank, the commercial banks are. So we collaborate with them to undertake basic retail activities of all export-oriented entities. So the collaboration to encourage the commercial banks to support non-oil. In terms of the available funds to extend credits to the exporters, commercial banks are in better capacity to support the funds. But where there is, portfolio limitation and constraint, the RRF is a very veritable platform to encourage this commercial bank to continue the export operation or extending export credit to the export community, because there is the window that at any point in time they have liquidity challenge, they can revert back to this rediscounting refinancing window to rediscount their bill and liquefy their export credit operation, and that encourages sustainable export credit activities to the exporters. Yes, that's actually part of the collaboration that we maintain with commercial bank, because like I said, Nexim is not a commercial bank, it's not a deposit money bank, but you have the commercial banks that are deposit money banks, so they have more access to exporters than Nexim. So Nexim will rely and collaborate with the commercial bank in as much as we go also to reach out to the exporters directly. We also relate with the commercial banks. So exporters, we encourage them to access Nexim through the commercial banks, and we also reach out to commercial banks to partner with them, collaborate with them, to enable them also encourage their export clients to access Nexim facilities. That is actually part of the collaboration that we maintain. So it's actually a win-win situation.